It was past midnight. The wind outside howled like a lonely animal brushing against the windows of Leo's small wooden house. He had just finished reading an old book and was preparing to go to bed. Life was slow in the quiet mountain town, and Leo liked it that way. Peaceful. No noise, no trouble. No, just silence, stars, and the scent of pine trees outside. But tonight, something was different. Knock, knock, knock. Leo froze. The sound was soft, but it didn't belong in this hour. No one visited after dark. No one even lived close enough to knock without calling first. He walked slowly toward the door, heart pounding. Was someone in trouble? A traveler lost? Or was it something worse? He peeked through the small window. There she stood. A girl. But not fully human. She was young, maybe in her early 20s, with soft features and pale bluish skin that almost shimmered under the porch light. Her eyes were large and glowing faintly violet, filled with fear. Her clothes were strange, tight, silver fabric wrapped around her body like a survival suit. Her hair was long and dark blue, falling past her shoulders, and her ears, small, elf-like, twitched slightly at the night sounds. She looked straight at him, lips trembling. "Please," she said, voice weak, barely a whisper. "Protect me." Leo blinked, stunned. He quickly unlocked the door. "Come inside," he said, stepping back. She stumbled in, and he shut the door behind her. She immediately backed into a corner, glancing around the room like a frightened animal. "Are you okay?" Leo asked gently. "Who are you? What happened?" She didn't answer at first. Instead, she stared at him like she wasn't sure if he was real. I'm not safe," she whispered. "They're hunting me." Leo grabbed a blanket and offered it to her. She took it slowly, wrapping it around her shaking body. "You're not from around here," he said softly, trying to calm her down. "What's your name?" After a long pause, she finally replied, "Sorry." "I'm Leo," he said. "You can rest here. No one's going to hurt you." Her eyes softened, just a little, but the fear didn't leave. She looked toward the window again. "Do you know who's after you?" Leo asked. "Yes," she whispered. "And if they find me here, you'll be in danger too." Leo paused. He looked out the same window, just trees, wind, shadows. But now, the quiet didn't feel peaceful. It felt like something was watching. "I'll take that risk," Leo said. "But I need to understand. Who are you really? And why are they chasing you?" Sari closed her eyes, as if choosing her words very carefully. "I'm not from Earth," she said. "I came through an old gate, a hidden passage between worlds. It wasn't supposed to be open anymore. I escaped from a place where they kept me like an object. I was a test subject. They were not kind." Leo's jaw tightened. He didn't ask more. Her voice told the story clearly. Too much pain already. She looked at him again. "I heard stories and about humans, that some of you protect those in need. That's why I came here. I hoped." Her voice broke. Leo knelt beside her. "You found the right place?" A moment passed between them. No more words. Just quiet understanding. Then, something outside beeped, quick and sharp. Sari's head snapped toward the sound. Her hand reached into a small pouch at her side and pulled out a round object. It looked like a stone at first, but then it lit up with strange, alien symbols. "It's here," she said. "They sent a drone, a seeker. They're near." Leo rushed to the back window. A small red light blinked in the sky, moving between trees. He turned to her. "Is it armed?" "No, but it scans. If it locks onto me, they'll know exactly where." "I am? Then we can't let it." Leo grabbed a flashlight and opened the back door slowly. The wind hit his face, cold and sharp. He pointed the beam at the trees and spotted the drone, a small metallic orb floating silently. Without a word, he picked up a rock and threw it. The rock missed, but the drone turned toward him. Then, without warning, Sari stepped outside. She raised her arm and pointed the device at the drone. It flashed once and the drone sparked, spun wildly, then exploded in a puff of smoke and blue sparks. The light was gone. The forest returned to shadows. Leo turned back to her. That thing will alert them anyway, right? She nodded. But it's better than doing nothing. They went back inside, locking the doors, pulling curtains. Sari sat on the couch now, eyes wide open, her body tense. Leo brought her some warm tea. This place is remote. It might buy us time. In the morning, we'll figure something out. She took the cup and looked at him. Why are you helping me? She asked. Leo sat down across from her, thoughtful. Because I'd want someone to do the same for me, he replied. Sari looked down, her eyes glistening. You may be human, she whispered, but you're kinder than most of my own kind. Leo chuckled softly. That's not the first time I've heard something like that. The room went quiet again, but it wasn't fear anymore. It was calm. Tense, but calm. Outside, the wind continued. But something else moved now. Something not made by nature. Far above, hidden behind clouds and trees, a dark ship hovered silently. The morning sunlight crept through the curtains, casting soft lines across the living room floor. Leo hadn't slept all night. He had stayed on the armchair with a blanket over his shoulders, watching the quiet figure on the couch. Sari was still asleep, curled up under the blanket he had given her. Her breathing was soft now. No more panic, just calm. But Leo knew it was the calm before the storm. He got up quietly and went into the kitchen. He brewed some tea and made toast, the scent of breakfast filling the small cabin. When he turned around, Sari was standing silently in the doorway. Her eyes were tired but clear. Did you rest? Leo asked. She nodded slowly. You're home. It's quiet. I forgot what quiet felt like. Leo handed her the cup of tea. You'll need your strength. I think we have a long day ahead. Sari took the cup carefully. She sat at the small wooden table and looked out the window. Trees surrounded the house. Mountains stood in the distance. It was a peaceful place, but peace didn't last when something hunted you. I owe you an explanation, she said softly. Leo nodded. Only if you're ready. Sari took a deep breath. I come from a world called Lurian. It's far beyond your systems, hidden behind fields your scientists can't see yet. My people, we were peaceful once. But something changed. The Council of Overseers, scientists with too much power, started experimenting with us. They wanted to create hybrids, stronger bodies, stronger minds. Leo listened quietly, eyes focused. I was taken when I was a child, she continued. They said I was special. They said I could become something more. But what they really meant was that I was a project. She sipped the tea, then added, They locked me away for years. Machines monitored my every move. Needles, scans, training. None of it for my benefit. Leo's hands curled into fists. How did you escape? He asked. Sari smiled bitterly. An accident. During a transport, the ship's system glitched. For a few seconds, their attention broke. I ran. I took a prototype device. One that let me open a path to another world. Leo leaned forward. And that path brought you here? She nodded. I didn't choose Earth at random. I heard stories. Some aliens in black markets talk about humans. They say you're wild, unpredictable, and protective of your own. I hoped that meant you'd protect me too. Leo looked down at the table for a moment, then said, We protect more than just our own. Sari's lips curled into a small smile. It was the first true smile he had seen on her face. But now that I'm here, she said, they will come. And when they find me, they might not care who else gets in the way. Leo stood up. Then we don't let them find you. But how? She asked. They have tracking tech. I only delayed them. They'll scan again. They'll keep searching until we get ahead of them. Leo interrupted. Do you have anything that can block their scan? Something in your gear? Sari hesitated. Then she reached into a small case attached to her belt. She pulled out a thin band made of silver-like metal. This might help, she said. It's a distortion band. It can block my signals for a while, but it wasn't meant for long-term use. How long will it last? Maybe a day, 2 if I'm lucky. Leo took a deep breath. Then we use those 2 days smartly. We find a safe place. Somewhere they can't track. Do you know anywhere like that? There's one possibility, Sari said. I scanned this region before landing. About 30 miles from here is an old observatory. I think it's abandoned, but its structure is made of older materials. The scanners from my world don't detect well through that kind of stone. Leo grabbed a map from his shelf. He unfolded it and pointed. This one? She looked closely. Yes, that's it. Leo nodded. We'll leave after sunset. Travel through the forest. If they're scanning by orbit, it'll be harder for them to spot us at night. Sari looked at him. Why are you doing this for me? He paused. I guess because someone has to. And if the galaxy forgot how to be kind, then I'll remind it. Her eyes welled up again. But this time she didn't cry. She just nodded, like something in her had found peace in his words. As the sun dipped low behind the hills, Leo packed essentials, food, a flashlight, extra batteries, a small axe, and blankets. Sari carried a small bag with her remaining alien tools, including the distortion band. Before leaving, Leo locked up his cabin and stared at it one last time. He had lived here for years, alone, quiet, hidden from the noise of the world. And now he was walking away from it. For her. They started walking through the trees, moving silently. Sari's boots made almost no sound, and Leo was impressed by how light her steps were. She moved like someone trained to survive. They didn't talk much. The forest at night was full of sounds, owls, leaves, the crack of distant branches. But one sound didn't belong, a faint humming noise. Leo stopped. You hear that? Sari nodded. Hovercraft. One of theirs. They're close. They ducked into the shadows under a fallen log. The craft passed above them slowly, like a ghost floating through the trees. It had no lights, just a faint blue glow under its wings. Sari's distortion band pulsed slightly. They're trying to scan, she whispered. It's working for now. But we need to move faster. They hurried through the trees. Hours passed, and the cold night air bit at Leo's fingers. But Sari was focused, leading the way now. Her alien tools glowed faintly, guiding their path. Finally, just before dawn, they saw it. A tall structure made of stone and metal, half covered by vines. The old observatory. They climbed up the broken steps and pushed the doors open. Dust flew into the air. Inside were old machines, star charts, and a long telescope pointing toward the sky. Sari placed her hand on the wall and nodded. Yes. This place is perfect. Their scanners can't reach me here. Leo collapsed onto the floor, breathing hard. Good. Then we have a chance. Sari sat beside him, her expression serious now. I'll try to contact my people, she said. There's a hidden channel I can access if I boost the signal, but I'll need time and protection. Leo looked her in the eyes. You've got both. The first light of morning filtered through the dusty windows of the old observatory. Leo stood near the broken wall, watching the horizon. Sari sat cross-legged on the floor, her fingers moving quickly over a small device glowing with alien symbols. Outside birds chirped and the wind rustled the trees, but Leo knew peace was not real. It was just a thin cover. Trouble was close. Any signal yet? He asked, not turning from the window. Sari sighed. I'm trying. The observatory is blocking outside signals well, which means it's also blocking mine. I have to boost the power, but the battery is low. Leo looked over. Can you use anything here? Maybe the old power systems? I already checked. Most of the systems are dead. But... She pointed to a rusted panel. There's one backup line that might still have some charge. If I connect it right, it can power my communicator. Do it, Leo said. I'll keep watch. Sari got up and walked carefully to the panel. She opened it, revealing wires and metal pieces, some broken, others dusty but still whole. Her fingers moved with focus. She knew what she was doing. Leo returned to his post near the window, his eyes scanning the forest below. The observatory sat on a high ridge, giving them a wide view. But that also meant others could see them, too. As the minutes passed, a strange silence settled over the area. The birds stopped singing. The wind paused. Leo's muscles tensed. Then from the far side of the forest, he saw it. A faint shimmer in the trees. Not smoke, not fog, cloaking field. Sayari, he said, voice low but urgent. We have company. She looked up quickly. How many? Leo focused his eyes. He could barely see their shapes, like heat waves moving through air. At least 3. Maybe more. She stood up and grabbed her bag. They found me faster than I thought. Leo pulled out the small axe he had brought. Not the best weapon, but it was something. Do they know we're here yet? He asked. I don't think so. But if they scan again, the signal boost I just made will give us away. Leo nodded. Then we delay them, distract them, long enough for you to send your message. He walked toward the front doors of the observatory and looked outside. The sun was rising fast. Shadows were getting shorter. He could now see the figures. Tall, dark suits, thin limbs, glowing eyes under smooth helmets. Alien hunters. Sari stood beside him. They are called the Tracers, trained to follow, catch, and erase targets. Leo looked at her. Have they ever lost someone before? She shook her head. Never. Then let's make history, Leo said. Leo stepped outside slowly, holding a metal rod he found near the wall. He knew it wouldn't match their tech, but it could still cause damage in the right hands. He moved through the trees, circling around the building. He needed to draw them away from Sari. Behind him, he heard her device beep softly. The signal was starting. Suddenly, one of the hunters turned its head. It saw him. Leo ran. He darted through the trees, leaping over fallen logs, sliding under branches. Behind him, the hunter followed, fast and silent. A red beam shot past him, burning a hole through a tree trunk. He kept running, heart pounding. Up ahead, Leo spotted an old fire tower. He had hiked there years ago. It had a ladder. He could climb it, create a trap. He reached the tower and scrambled, up. The hunter was close now, footsteps soft but steady. At the top, Leo waited, gripping the rod tightly. The hunter appeared at the ladder. It climbed quickly, but just as it reached the top, Leo swung the rod. The force hit the side of the helmet, knocking the alien off balance. It fell. The body crashed to the ground below. It didn't move. Leo breathed hard. One down. Back at the EU. Observatory. Sari connected the final wire. Her device lit up. Signal ready, she whispered. Now I just need to hold it steady for 1 minute. She started the transmission. Outside, the second hunter climbed the observatory wall. Sharp fingers dug into the stone, pulling its body up like a spider. Sari heard the scraping and turned fast. She grabbed a small energy blade from her bag. It buzzed to life with a soft blue light. The hunter jumped through a window. Sari dodged, swinging the blade. Sparks flew. The alien attacked again, faster this time. But Sari ducked low and stabbed. The blade into the creature's leg. It roared in pain, a cold metallic sound, and fell back. But it wasn't finished. It lunged again, grabbing her arm. The blade dropped. Sari struggled, using her legs to kick it away. She reached for the communicator, trying to protect it. 10 seconds left on the transmission. The hunter grabbed her by the neck. Just then, Leo appeared, breathing hard, face scratched. He saw the fight and ran forward, swinging the rod with all his strength. The rod hit the creature's back. It turned, releasing Sari. Leo swung again, this time smashing the helmet. The alien collapsed. The device beeped once. Transmission complete. Sari crawled over and picked it up. We did it, she said, gasping. Leo dropped beside her. Are you okay? She nodded slowly, holding her side. I'll heal. Leo looked around. Was that all of them? Sari shook her head. There's one more. Just then, the last hunter stepped into the observatory. Its armor was different, heavier, darker, with glowing red lines across the chest. This one is their leader, Sari whispered. Leo stood up slowly, holding his rod. The alien looked at both of them, then spoke for the first time. You are not special, human. Step aside. Leo didn't move. No. The alien aimed a weapon. Sari grabbed Leo's hand and activated her last tool, a pulse grenade. She rolled it across the floor. The alien saw it too late. Boom! A wave of light blasted the room, throwing the hunter backward. Leo and Sari ducked behind a wall. When the dust cleared, the alien was gone, blown out of the broken wall. But it had left something behind. A small, blinking tracker. Sari looked at it. He marked us. That means they'll send more. Leo picked it up and crushed it under his foot. Let them come, he said. We'll be ready. Sari smiled. You really are different. Leo looked at her. And you're not alone anymore. The observatory was broken. Walls cracked, smoke still rising from one side. The ground was covered in dust, broken glass, and metal pieces from the battle. Leo sat near the edge, breathing hard, while Sari leaned against the stone wall, holding her side. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, Sari looked up at him and said, The signal reached my people. I'm sure of it. They'll come for me, but not right away. Leo nodded, still catching his breath. So what now? We just wait? No, she said firmly. They'll send another group, stronger, smarter, maybe even in a ship. We can't stay here. Leo stood up and looked at the forest below. Then we prepare. We slow them down again. If we can survive this long, we can survive a little longer. Sari smiled faintly. You humans are stubborn. Leo picked up a metal pipe and tested its weight. Sometimes that's our greatest strength. That afternoon, they worked together to set traps and prepare defenses around the observatory. Sari used small alien tools to scan the ground and plant energy mines in the dirt. Leo dug hidden pits and sharpened wooden spikes like in old war movies. They set up a plan. If the enemies came again, they wouldn't leave easily. As the sun began to set, Sari sat near a stone ledge looking at the sky. The clouds were orange and pink, peaceful above the coming storm. Leo sat beside her. You miss your world? She nodded slowly. I do, but it's not the place I once knew. Not anymore. Everything changed when the council took over. Leo looked at her. What will you do when your people come for you? I don't know, she whispered. Maybe they'll take me back and hide me again. Or maybe they'll believe I'm worth more than just experiments now. Leo was silent for a moment, then said, You're more than they know. You risked everything for freedom. That's not weakness. Sari turned to him. And you, Leo? Why are you risking so much for me? You didn't even know me. Leo thought about it, then said simply, Because you knocked on my door and asked for help. That's enough. Her eyes filled with warmth. Before she could reply, a sharp sound cut through the sky, a roar like thunder. They both looked up. A dark shape moved through the clouds, long, silent, like a shadow ship. Sari's face went pale. It's them. The ship hovered above the forest, nearly invisible against the clouds. From it, small lights dropped down, transport pods. Each one carried soldiers. Leo and Sari ran to their positions. The traps were ready. The plan was simple: defend the observatory for as long as they could. Hold the line until help arrived or until the end. The first wave of enemies arrived quickly. 3 dark figures moved through the trees. One stepped on a hidden energy mine. Boom! The blast knocked the others back. The second wave came from the side, but Leo's wooden trap caught them. A pit opened under their feet and 2 soldiers fell in, unable to climb out. Still, more kept coming. Sari used her energy blade, slashing through one attacker. Leo swung his metal rod, striking another. They moved together back to back, protecting each other, but the enemy leader, a tall figure with silver armor and glowing red eyes, stepped through the smoke. It spoke in a deep, clear voice. "You delay the future with sticks and rocks. How? Foolish." Leo stared him down. "Future or not, I don't let strangers hurt people at my door." The enemy raised his arm, a weapon forming from the armor. Sari threw a flash device. Boom! Blinding light filled the area. Leo used that moment to strike, hitting the leader's arm. Sparks flew. The weapon fell. But the leader wasn't finished. He grabbed Leo and threw him across the floor. Leo hit the wall hard and groaned, struggling to rise. Sari screamed and attacked, blade flashing, but the leader blocked her and pushed her back. The 2 stood there, Sari, hurt but standing strong. The leader, cold and powerful. "You are nothing," he said. "Just another failed experiment." "No," she said. "I'm free now." Suddenly, a loud humming sound came from above. Sari looked up and smiled through her pain. Leo crawled to the window and saw it. A second ship, sleek and bright, was breaking through the clouds. "It's them," Sari said. "My people!" The leader turned sharply, shocked. The rescue ship opened fire. Bright blue beams hit the enemy drop pods, destroying them in flashes of light. Soldiers from Sari's world jumped out, wearing white armor, holding advanced weapons. The enemy leader tried to retreat, but Sari threw one last energy pulse at him, knocking him off the edge of the observatory wall. He vanished into the trees below. After the battle, the rescue team rushed to Sari's side. A female commander stepped forward. "We received your signal. We came as fast as we could." Sari nodded, barely standing. "Thank you, but I wouldn't have made it without him." She pointed to Leo, who was sitting against the wall, bruised but alive. The commander looked at Leo with respect. "You protected her well, human?" Leo nodded. "She protected herself too." Sari walked to him, eyes soft. "You saved me more than once. I don't have the words. But thank you." Leo smiled. "You already thanked me. The night you knocked." She looked down. "I have to go with them now. But I'll never forget this place. Or you." Leo stood up slowly, pain in his ribs. "You'll be okay now. That's what matters." They stood quietly, looking at each other. Then Sari said, "If you ever find yourself near Lurien, look for me." He chuckled. "Can't promise that, but who knows?" She stepped close and placed her hand over his chest, just above his heart. "This is where I'll carry your name." With that, she turned and walked to the ship. The door closed behind her and it rose into the sky. Leo stood there, watching until it disappeared into the clouds. The observatory was quiet again, broken, but peaceful. Leo looked around at the damage, then smiled faintly. "Next time someone knocks," he said softly, "I better be ready." The observatory stood silent, wounded from battle. Trees around it still smoked lightly where beams had scorched the ground. The wind carried the scent of burnt metal and broken earth. But inside the old building, peace had returned. Quiet. Still and heavy with memory. Leo sat on the stone steps, holding a warm drink he had made over a fire. His ribs still hurt and there was a bruise forming on his cheek, but he was alive. And more than that, he had done something that mattered. The alien girl who had knocked on his door, afraid, lost, and hunted, was safe now. Sari was gone. But she had left something behind. Leo reached into his jacket and pulled out a small round object no bigger than a coin. Before she left, Sari had placed it in his hand without saying anything. When he had asked what it was, she had only said, "A way to speak across stars." He pressed the center of the object. It blinked once, soft blue light. Then her voice came through, clear and calm. "Leo, If you're hearing this, it means you survived. I knew you would. I couldn't stay. I had to return, but I want you to know. I never forgot what you did. You didn't just protect me, you gave me hope. Leo smiled softly. I told my people about you. Some didn't believe, others did. But I made them listen. I made them see that kindness still exists out here, that there is bravery in places we forgot to look. I carry your name, Leo, and I'll carry it always. The light blinked again, then faded. Leo stared at the device for a while. Then he closed his hand around it and looked at the sky. Days passed. Leo returned to his cabin in the forest, repairing the broken door and cleaning the dusty shelves. The world felt different now, quieter, but not empty. He had seen a wider universe. He had stood against it, and he had made a difference. One morning he found himself fixing the fence outside when a vehicle came up the dirt road. That was strange. He didn't get visitors. Not since the night Sari arrived. The car stopped and a man stepped out, military clothes, serious face. Are you Leo? He asked. Leo wiped his hands on his pants and nodded. That's me. I'm with Earth Defense Alliance. We picked up unusual energy signals near your location a few days ago. Witnesses say a ship entered our atmosphere and left again. We're investigating. Leo said nothing. The officer continued. You wouldn't happen to know anything about alien contact, would you? Leo stared at the man, then looked toward the trees. No aliens here, he said calmly. Just birds and squirrels. The man raised an eyebrow. Strange. We thought there might be something more. Leo smiled. Sometimes the universe just passes by. The officer left without pushing further. Leo returned to his fence, hammering the next wooden piece into place. That night, he sat on his porch, staring at the stars. He wondered where Sari was, what kind of ship she was on, what stories she was telling others. He wondered if she ever looked up at her own sky and thought of this place. Suddenly, a small sound broke the silence. A faint beeping, coming from inside the house. Leo ran in and opened the drawer where he had kept the small round communicator. The blue light blinked again. He touched it. Her voice returned, excited and bright. Leo. I reached home. I'm safe. I told them everything. My people want to meet you one day. They say Earth is still off limits to most, but they're reconsidering. Leo laughed softly. About time. Sari continued. They gave me a new ship, not for battle, but for searching, exploring. I asked for it. I told them I wanted to see the galaxy the way you see the forest. Quiet, full of mystery. Leo nodded slowly, listening. I don't know when, but I'll come back. One day. I want to see your world again. I want to hear your voice, not just a recording. So keep the fire going, Leo. You never know who might knock next. The message ended. Months passed, then a year. And Leo lived quietly, keeping his home ready. No more soldiers came. No more ships appeared in the sky. But every night, he watched the stars, waiting, hoping. Then, one spring morning, as the sun rose and melted the last of the snow, a sound echoed through the trees. Knock, knock, knock. Leo stood still. The sound was soft, familiar, just like before. He opened the door. And there she was. Sari stood in a new outfit, white and silver with a symbol he didn't recognize on her chest. Her hair was a bit shorter now, but her eyes were the same, bright, gentle, and full of wonder. You came back, Leo said. She smiled. I told you I would. They stood for a moment in silence. Then, without another word, he stepped aside. Come, Karisim, he said. She walked through the doorway just like she had the first time, but now there was no fear in her eyes, only peace. Leo closed the door behind her. Final scene. Later that night, they sat near the fire. Sari looked around the cabin. Everything looks the same, she said. Some things don't need to change, Leo replied. She nodded. And some things do. He looked at her. What happens now? Sari smiled. I don't know, she said. But maybe we find out together. They clinked their mugs gently and looked up at the stars. Two souls from different worlds, sharing a single sky.